Hey YouTube, Alex here. For this video specifically, I'm going over these ProSol units with built-in timers. For reference, this is the 30-inch ProSol. So this has 6 light sockets. You can see I've just got some example lights that I've got. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are using the 20-inch Zilla Pro Sol model, that only has 4 sockets. The way that the timer works, it's the exact same. The only difference between the 30-inch and the 20-inch is where your night socket is. Sockets 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are all of your daytime outlets, and I'll cover that once we start programming the timer. Socket 5 is what controls your night heat. For the purpose of this video, I've got one of the night red halogen bulbs. I understand that within the reptile community there's a lot of controversy over nighttime lights. I'm simply using this as an example so you guys can see when this socket is on. If you're not a fan of red lights, you don't have to worry because Zilla also makes these 50-watt ceramic heat emitters. I in particular suffered a nasty burn using a ceramic heat emitter many years ago, and so Zilla actually made it to where when this is on it changes to an orange color, so it's just kind of cool. And again, if you don't like using nighttime red bulbs, these work just as well, and you actually know when the ceramic heat emitter is running, so that's kind of cool. Socket 5 on these 30-inch models is your nighttime socket. If you're using the 20-inch model, it would be socket 3. Again, the way you program the timer works identically on both models. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna flip this over and we're gonna dial in on our timer unit. Alrighty, so to program the timer, the first thing you need to do is switch your fixture on and your little digital screen's gonna load. By default, it's going to set at 12 in the afternoon. So before we start programming this fixture to set when we want our daytime socket on and our nighttime socket on, we have to set our timer to our current time of day. Let's say, for example, right now it would be, it's 2:45. This is one of the things that I don't like about the ProSol is that this says menu. It should say clock. There is no digital menu. So you're going to click menu once and your hour logo is flashing. Now you can press the up or down arrow. It pretty much, if I click down, it sets you back 1 hour. If I press forward, it puts you forward 1 hour. In this case, it is 2:45 p.m. So I have it now set to 2 in the afternoon. And if I were to hold this down for reference, guys, it's gonna run you through all the way to your various times a day. So once I get to 12, now you see it switch to 12 a.m. and I'm gonna keep running that till it gets to 2 p.m. Now, when it is the hour that I want, being 2 o'clock, I'm gonna hit menu, and now it's gonna switch to the minutes. And so again, you just hold this down, and this will go through all of your various minutes, and I'm gonna get that upwards to 2:45. Voila, so that is done. And once you have your timer set to the current time of day, just hit menu, and now your ProSol clock is set. So what you're going to do now is you're gonna hit the program button, and this is just labeled PRG. So when you hit the program button, the first thing that you're going to program is your night socket. So when I hit program, watch under the table. You see how that light just turned on? That's the red nighttime socket. Let's say I want my socket to turn on, since this is nighttime, as indicated by 1, and see how the green LED for on is lit? That means that you're setting the time right now for when you want your nighttime socket to turn on. So I want it to turn on, let's do 8:30 p.m. So we're set again, just like the clock, we're flashing the hour. We're gonna hit program again. We're gonna set the minutes. So now this will turn on at 8:30 in the evening, and now we need to set when we want the nighttime socket to turn off. For example, a 12-hour cycle. So I want this to turn off at 8:30 in the morning. So we're gonna set it to 8 a.m. See how the red LED right here says off? That means we're, again, programming when we want this to turn off. So now when we hit program again, we're going to, see how there's now a number 2 here? This is your daytime sockets. So I don't want to burn your guys' eyes on the camera. So sockets 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 would turn on. Since I just was not touching the clock for so long, it took me out of the programming. So now I got to go back to it. I already have my time set for when I want night on. Now we're at day. Again, same thing. This is the daytime cycle. This is when we want it to turn on. Let's set it for 8:30 a.m. So the moment the nighttime socket turns off, our daytime lights will turn on. All right, so we've got that set, and we want our daytime socket to turn off at 8:30 p.m. And again, you hit program to switch between the hours and the minutes. And as you can see, once I hit program after this, it takes me right back to the nighttime setting. So now that we have all of our time sets, we're just gonna leave the ProSol alone. I'm not gonna touch it. And what's gonna happen is, it's gonna go back to the clock. What you're gonna notice now is that even though I've got all of my programming set and we set our clock to our desired time, none of these lights are on. That is because when you set up this fixture, it needs a day to go through its cycle. So I have it plugged in. I would have it on my enclosure, my terrarium. You can actually mount these inside your enclosures, which is pretty cool. Nonetheless, the point that I'm trying to make is that you need to let this fixture run. They do not tell you that on the instructions. I remember when I set this thing up for the first time, I was questioning, why are these lights not on? And it wasn't until the following morning at 8:30 a.m., so, you know, for example, because that's what I programmed this at, that your daytime lights kick on. Then by 8:30, your daytime lights kick off at 8:30 p.m. and your night socket turns on. Pretty much you need to set it, you need to forget it, and then it will run and do its job. It's a really cool fixture. It's something that I personally use. Any of you guys that follow my content know that I do a lot of work with Chinese water dragons. I've raised baby water dragons and 40 breeder tanks running ProSols on them. They are really cool fixtures. It's just kind of a pain in the butt to read the instructions and not know how to program the timer unit. So that's why I made this video, so that those of you guys that are using these fixtures will not have to go through the hair pulling and wall punching that I did out of frustration. So without further ado, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you found this video helpful. And until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.